When you feel broken, it's as if the world has shifted its weight against you, pressing down with a force that's both invisible and unbearable. The simple things breathing, standing, moving through each day suddenly seem insurmountable, like scaling a cliff with no footholds. Brokenness isn't something you choose. It finds you, seeping in like rain through cracks in the roof, uninvited and relentless. It's a quiet ache that fills up the spaces in your heart, slowly at first, until one day you realize it has taken over everything. You try to find the words to explain it, to reach out to someone and say, "I feel shattered," but how do you convey a feeling that's so consuming? You struggle with it alone, feeling as though no one could understand the way you've come undone. Maybe it was a loss, a betrayal, a disappointment that felt too big to bear. Or maybe, like so many others, you simply woke up one day to find that life no longer fit, that the pieces of yourself no longer connected in the way they used to. It's disorienting, like looking in a mirror and seeing someone else staring back, someone unfamiliar yet hauntingly close. There's a particular loneliness to feeling broken, a sense that you're somehow set apart from the rest of the world. You watch others move through life, smiling and laughing as though everything is easy, while you feel as if you're walking through molasses, every step heavy and uncertain. You wonder if they've ever felt this way, if they've ever known the hollow ache of brokenness, or if it's something that only lives in you. It's hard to believe that anyone else could understand when all you see around you are intact lives and whole hearts. But in the quiet moments, when you allow yourself to sit with the feeling instead of fighting it, you begin to see something else. You notice that brokenness has its own kind of beauty, a depth and vulnerability that makes you more human, more real. It strips away the pretense, leaving only the raw, unguarded parts of you that rarely see the light. And while it may feel like a weakness, this openness is a kind of strength, a willingness to feel deeply even when it hurts. It's a reminder that you're alive, that you still care enough to feel the pain. In time, you start to realize that brokenness isn't the end of the story, but a beginning of sorts. It's an invitation to rebuild, to take the scattered pieces and fit them together in a new way. It's a chance to redefine yourself, to let go of what no longer serves you and embrace what matters most. The process isn't easy, and it certainly isn't quick, but there's a quiet resilience in choosing to heal, in deciding that you're worth the effort it takes to put yourself back together. As you move through this journey, you begin to notice the small things that help along the way. The warmth of sunlight on your face, the sound of birds singing in the morning, the gentle hum of life all around you. These tiny moments become lifelines, reminders that there is still beauty in the world even when you feel broken. You start to find comfort in the things you used to overlook, in the simple act of being present, of breathing through the pain and trusting that one day will hurt a little less. The people who care about you may not fully understand what you're going through, but their presence is a balm nonetheless. They may not have the right words, but sometimes just sitting beside you in silence is enough. They remind you that you're not as alone as you feel, that there are others who are willing to carry the weight with you, even if only for a little while. And slowly, you start to believe that you can come back from this, that there is a way forward even when the path seems hidden from view. It's a long road, and there will be days when you feel like giving up, when the pain seems too much to bear. But there's a strength in you that refuses to be defeated, a quiet voice that whispers, "Keep going." And so, you do. You take it one step at a time, finding your way back to yourself piece by piece, until one day you realize that you no longer feel as broken as you once did. You may still carry the scars, but they no longer define you. Instead, they are a testament to your resilience, a reminder of all the battles you fought and won. In the end, you emerge not as the same person you were before, but as someone stronger, wiser, more compassionate. You understand that brokenness is not something to be ashamed of, but a part of the human experience, a thread woven into the fabric of life. You carry your scars proudly, knowing that they are proof of your courage, of your willingness to feel deeply and heal fully. And as you step forward into the world, You do so with a newfound sense of purpose, a quiet determination to live fully, to embrace all the messiness and beauty that life has to offer. And even as you move forward, there will be moments when the ache returns, when you feel the weight of your brokenness pressing down once more. But now, you know that it's only temporary, that this feeling too shall pass. You've learned to trust yourself, to believe in your own strength, and to hold on to hope even in the darkest of times. Because now, you understand that being broken is not the end, but a part of the journey, a necessary step on the path to becoming whole. You've come to understand that healing isn't a linear journey. Some days, you feel strong, almost whole, like the pieces of your heart are knitting back together. And on other days, without warning, something reminds you of the hurt, and suddenly you're back to feeling raw and exposed, as if no time has passed at all. It's frustrating, but eventually you come to accept that this back and forth is part of the process. Healing doesn't erase the past. It just gives you the tools to live with it, to weave it into who you are becoming. At some point, you find yourself thinking about forgiveness not because anyone else is asking for it, but because you realize that holding on to resentment or regret is too heavy a burden to carry. Forgiveness is a complex thing. It doesn't mean forgetting or excusing the hurt, and it doesn't mean you're obligated to let the person who hurt you back into your life. Forgiveness is about freeing yourself, about choosing peace over the weight of resentment. And sometimes, the hardest forgiveness is the one you offer to yourself. You learn to forgive yourself for the things you didn't know, for the times you weren't strong enough to say no, for the mistakes you made in moments of weakness. Little by little, you release the anger, the shame, the guilt, things that no longer serve you. And with each release, you feel a bit lighter, a bit more whole. The people around you may notice the change before you do. They tell you that you seem more at peace, that there's a calmness about you that wasn't there before. You may not see it right away, but eventually, you start to believe them. You realize that your heart feels less weighed down, that the world feels just a little bit brighter. You still have your bad days, of course, but they're fewer now. And when they do come, you know how to handle them. You've developed your own rituals, small acts of self-care that ground you and remind you of your resilience. Maybe it's a walk in the park, feeling the earth steady beneath your feet. Or maybe it's journaling, letting your thoughts spill onto the page until you've given them shape, until they're no longer rattling around in your head. Gradually, you come to see that the person you're becoming isn't so far removed from the person you once were, but stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. You've learned to be kind to yourself in ways you never were before, to treat yourself with the same patience and understanding you would offer to someone you love. You know now that growth isn't about becoming someone else, but about uncovering the person who's been there all along, hidden beneath layers of hurt, fear, and self-doubt. You realize that brokenness doesn't define you, it's simply a part of your story, a chapter that, while painful, has shaped you into someone more resilient and empathetic. As the months pass, you start to find new dreams, new desires, things you hadn't thought possible when you were still in the depths of your pain. It's as if healing has opened up space within you, space for hope and possibility. You may not know exactly where you're headed, but you feel a sense of purpose that's deeper than any specific goal. You want to live fully, to savor the beauty and messiness of life, to embrace all the things that once felt out of reach. And even though the future is uncertain, you trust that you have the strength to face whatever comes, that you are capable of weathering any storm. You begin to see brokenness in others too, recognizing the same vulnerability and depth that you once felt. You notice it in friends, family, even strangers, and instead of feeling distanced by their pain, you feel connected to them. You understand that everyone carries their own hidden battles, their own scars and stories. There's a quiet solidarity in knowing that none of us are truly alone, that beneath our masks and facades, we all experience loss, heartache, and healing. You feel a sense of compassion you didn't have before, a gentleness that allows you to hold space for others in a way you never could when you were struggling with your own brokenness. Over time, you start to give back in small ways. Maybe you listen a little more intently when someone shares their struggles, or you offer a word of encouragement to a friend who's going through a hard time. You may even share parts of your own story, letting others see that healing is possible, that brokenness isn't the end. And in these moments of connection, you realize that your journey has come full circle, that the pain you once felt so deeply has transformed into something else entirely. It has become a source of strength, a well of empathy from which you can draw to help others. You no longer fear brokenness the way you once did. You understand now that it's part of the human experience, an inevitable chapter in the story of a life fully lived. And while you don't seek it out, you know that if it comes again, you have the tools, the strength, and the resilience to face it. You have come to trust yourself in a way you never did before, to believe in your own capacity to heal and grow. And with this trust comes a sense of freedom, a lightness that allows you to move through life with a newfound sense of ease. In the end, you realize that feeling broken wasn't the end of the world, but a beginning a chance to rebuild yourself in a way that feels truer, more authentic, and more aligned with who you are meant to be. You are not defined by your brokenness, but by the strength it took to heal, by the courage it took to keep going even when the path was unclear. And as you move forward, you carry this strength with you, a quiet reminder that no matter what life brings, you have the power to rise above it. And so, you step into the future with a heart that is both scarred and strong, open to the beauty and complexity of life. You know now that brokenness and healing are not opposites, but parts of the same journey, two sides of the same coin. And with this understanding, you are free to live fully, to embrace each moment, each challenge, each joy, knowing that you have everything you need within you. You find that, over time, the scars left by your brokenness become softer, almost beautiful in their own way. They are reminders, yes, but no longer of pain alone. Instead, they represent resilience, a map of the journey you've taken to get here. And you realize that this is part of what it means to be human, to carry both the light and the dark, the joy and the sorrow, woven together into a tapestry that is uniquely yours. Sometimes, in quiet moments, you still feel the faint ache of what you went through, like a distant echo. But instead of shying away from it, you lean in. You allow yourself to feel it, recognizing it as a part of you. You no longer fear those moments of vulnerability, because you understand that they are simply reminders of the depth of your capacity to feel. And to feel is to be alive. You start to look back at your life with gentler eyes, noticing the ways in which every experience, even the painful ones, has shaped you, taught you something, helped you grow. Where once you may have felt regret or resentment, you now feel a kind of gratitude, even for the things that hurt the most. You understand that each twist and turn was a step on the path to where you are now, and while you may not have chosen every experience, you've chosen to learn from them, to transform them into something meaningful. This new perspective opens up something within you. You feel less burdened by the past and more present in each moment. Little things that once seemed insignificant now feel precious. The warmth of a friend's laughter, the smell of rain on the earth, the feel of the sun on your skin. You begin to notice beauty in places you overlooked before, finding joy in the simplicity of everyday life. Each day feels like a gift, and you treasure it, knowing that even the smallest moments hold meaning. Your relationships begin to shift too. You're more open, more willing to share parts of yourself that you once kept hidden. You allow others to see your scars, to witness your vulnerability, and in doing so, you create deeper, more authentic connections. The people in your life respond to this openness, meeting you with kindness and understanding. You realize that by embracing your own brokenness, you've made space for others to do the same, to share their own struggles and scars without fear or judgment. There is a quiet beauty in the shared humanity, in knowing that none of us are truly alone. As you move forward, you begin to think about what you want to create, the legacy you want to leave behind. It's no longer about accomplishments or accolades. It's about the kind of person you want to be, the way you want to touch the lives of those around you. You feel a calling to bring compassion and understanding into the world, to help others find their own paths to healing. You may not know exactly what this looks like, but you trust that as long as you follow your heart, you will be guided to where you are meant to be. And so, you step into each day with an open heart, ready to embrace whatever comes your way. You know that life will have its ups and downs, that there will be moments of joy and moments of pain, but you no longer fear the dark times. You understand now that they, too, have their place, that they teach you things that joy alone never could. And with this understanding comes a profound sense of peace. You feel grounded, centered, as if you are finally standing on solid ground. The storm that once raged within you has quieted, leaving behind a calmness that feels unshakable. You trust yourself in a way you never did before, knowing that whatever life brings, you have the strength and resilience to face it. You are no longer just surviving. You are truly living, fully and deeply, embracing all the complexity and beauty of being human. And in those quiet moments, when you look back on the journey that brought you here, you feel a sense of pride. You know that it wasn't an easy path, that there were times when you wanted to give up, when the pain felt too much to bear. But you didn't give up. You kept going, even when it felt impossible. And now, standing here, you see the strength it took to keep moving forward, to choose healing, to choose life. This strength is yours to carry forward, a quiet but powerful reminder that you are capable of far more than you ever realized. And as you step into the future, you do so with a heart that is both tender and resilient, open to whatever lies ahead. You are no longer defined by your brokenness, but by your courage, your willingness to face the darkness and find your way back to the light. This journey has transformed you, made you into someone you never could have imagined. You are softer now, more compassionate, more understanding. You have learned that healing isn't about erasing the past, but about integrating it, allowing it to become a part of you in a way that feels whole and complete. And with this wholeness comes a profound sense of freedom, a lightness that allows you to move through the world with grace and ease. You are free to be yourself, fully and unapologetically, to live a life that feels true to who you are. And in this freedom, you find a joy that is deeper and more enduring than anything you've known before. It is the joy of being fully alive, of embracing all that life has to offer, both the beauty and the pain. In the end, you realize that brokenness was never something to fear, but a gateway to a deeper understanding of yourself and the world around you. It taught you things that no other experience could, gave you gifts that are beyond measure. And as you move forward, you carry these gifts with you, ready to share them with the world, knowing that in doing so, you are helping others find their own paths to healing. And so, you continue, not as someone who is broken, but as someone who has been broken open, whose heart has expanded to hold both the joy and the sorrow, the light and the dark. You move forward with a quiet confidence, a deep sense of peace, knowing that you are exactly where you are meant to be. And in this place, in this moment, you are whole. As you carry this wholeness within you, life takes on a different texture. There's a richness to each day, a depth that fills even the smallest of moments with meaning. You no longer rush through life, no longer feel the need to fill every space with noise or activity. Instead, you savor each breath, each sunrise, each conversation, letting them linger and imprint upon you. You have come to understand that life isn't a race, but a journey to be experienced fully and deeply, with all of its twists and turns. The journey has taught you patience with yourself, with others, with the process of life itself. You know now that not everything needs to be fixed or solved right away, that sometimes things need time to unfold on their own. You allow space for uncertainty, trusting that clarity will come when it's meant to. This patience brings a sense of calm, a quiet assurance that everything is as it should be, even when you don't fully understand it. There are days when people around you comment on the change they see in you, how there's a stillness to you that wasn't there before. You smile, knowing that this stillness didn't come easily. It was earned through countless nights of wrestling with your own heart, of facing fears you didn't know you had. This This quiet strength, it is the result of all the work you've done, all the inner battles you've fought and won. And now, it radiates from you, a silent testament to the resilience that lies within. You find that people are drawn to this calmness, this sense of peace that you carry. They come to you for advice, for comfort, seeking the understanding that you once sought in others. And without even realizing it, you've become a source of support, a light for others who are walking through their own darkness. You listen with an open heart, offering the same compassion and understanding that you once needed. You know that everyone's journey is different, that there are no shortcuts or easy answers. And so, you hold space for them, allowing them to find their own way, just as you found yours. In these moments, you feel a deep sense of gratitude. Gratitude for the experiences that shaped you, for the lessons that taught you to be kind, patient, and resilient. You no longer wish to erase the past, but to honor it, to hold it as a sacred part of who you are. Each chapter, each scar, has a place in your story, and you carry them with pride, knowing that they are proof of your growth, your transformation. As the seasons change and life continues to unfold, you find yourself dreaming again. Not the desperate, grasping dreams of the past, but gentle, hopeful visions of what might be. You no longer feel the need to control or predict the future, to plan every detail. Instead, you are content to let life surprise you, to let things unfold in their own time. There is a sense of freedom in the surrender, a lightness that fills you with joy. You are open to whatever comes, knowing that you have the strength to navigate any challenge, the resilience to weather any storm. Your dreams are no longer about achieving or proving yourself. They are about connection, about creating a life that feels meaningful and aligned with who you truly are. You imagine yourself surrounded by people who lift you up, by experiences that nourish your soul. You dream of a life filled with love, laughter, and purpose, a life that reflects the depth of all you've learned. And while you don't know exactly what form these dreams will take, you trust that they will come to you in time, that the universe has a way of guiding you to where you are meant to be. In quiet moments, you reflect on the concept of purpose. You realize that purpose isn't a destination or a goal, but a way of being, a commitment to live authentically and fully. Purpose for you is about showing up each day with an open heart, about bringing kindness and compassion into the world, about using your experiences to help others heal and grow. It is about being present, about embracing each moment with gratitude and grace. And in this realization, you find peace. You no longer feel the need to search for purpose outside of yourself, because you understand that it has been within you all along. You come to see that life itself is a journey of continual unfolding, of becoming. There will always be new challenges, new lessons, new layers of yourself to discover. And you are no longer afraid of this, no longer intimidated by the unknown. Instead, you welcome it, seeing it as an opportunity to grow, to deepen your understanding of yourself and the world. You trust in your ability to navigate whatever comes, knowing that you have already overcome so much. And as you move forward, you do so with a heart that is both humble and bold. Humble, because you understand the fragility of life, the vulnerability that comes with being human. And bold, because you know that this vulnerability is also your strength, that it is what allows you to connect deeply, to love fully, to live truly. You embrace both sides of yourself, the soft and the strong, the broken and the healed, recognizing that they are all part of the same beautiful whole. You realize that this is what it means to be truly alive, to hold space for all the contradictions, the joys and sorrows, the beauty and pain, to let them coexist within you without needing to change or fix them. You are no longer chasing perfection, no longer trying to be someone you're not. You are simply being, living each day as it comes, embracing all of it with an open heart. And in this openness, you find a profound sense of freedom. You are no longer bound by fear or expectation, no longer held back by the weight of the past. You are free to create, to explore, to dream, to love. You are free to live a life that feels true to you, to follow your own path, wherever it may lead. In the end, you realize that brokenness wasn't something you needed to overcome, but something you needed to embrace. It was a doorway, an invitation to step into a deeper, more authentic version of yourself. And now, standing on the other side, you see that you are not broken at all. You are whole, complete, exactly as you are. With this understanding, you step into each day with courage and grace, ready to face whatever comes. You know that life will bring both joy and sorrow, but you are no longer afraid. You have found peace within yourself, a peace that cannot be shaken by the ups and downs of life. You have found a sense of belonging, a home within your own heart. In the quiet of this realization, you sense a deeper appreciation for the rhythm of life, the natural ebb and flow that carries you through each season. You've come to understand that nothing is permanent, that all things, both joy and sorrow, pass in their own time. And rather than fearing this impermanence, you find comfort in it. It's a reminder to savor each moment, to hold it gently without trying to possess it. You let things come and go, like waves meeting the shore, knowing that what is meant for you will find its way back, and what is not will drift away. This understanding allows you to approach life with a kind of gentleness, a softness that once felt impossible. You treat yourself with the same compassion you extend to others, forgiving yourself for past mistakes, releasing the need for self-criticism. There is a warmth in this self-acceptance, a sense of coming home to a part of yourself that was always there but had been overlooked. You realize that peace is not a place you arrive at, but a way of being, a choice you make each day. This gentleness extends to the people in your life. You listen with an open heart, letting others be exactly who they are without feeling the need to change or fix them. You no longer hold others to unrealistic expectations, no longer place your happiness in their hands. You understand now that each person is on their own journey, with their own struggles and scars. And just as you've learned to accept your own imperfections, you allow space for theirs too. This creates a new kind of love in your relationships, one that is rooted in understanding and mutual respect. There are moments when life tests you, of course, times when old wounds resurface or new challenges arise. But now, you face them with a steadiness, an inner calm that comes from knowing you've survived the darkest days. You trust in your ability to navigate these moments, to find your way back to yourself even when things feel uncertain. You no longer resist the waves when they come. Instead, you ride them, allowing them to carry you wherever you are meant to go. In this surrender, you find a freedom you hadn't anticipated. Life feels expansive, limitless, as if the whole world has opened up before you. You are no longer confined by fear or self-doubt, no longer holding yourself back from the things you truly want. You feel a sense of possibility, a sense that anything is within reach. And rather than rushing toward it, you move with intention, trusting that the right opportunities will come to you in their own time. You begin to explore new interests, try things you once thought were beyond you. You take risks, embrace adventure, and open yourself up to new experiences. You are no longer defined by what you have been through. You are defined by the person you are choosing to become. And with each step, you feel more aligned with who you truly are, more connected to the essence of yourself. As time passes, you notice that the joy you feel is different from the fleeting happiness you once chased. It is a quiet joy, one that runs deep and steady, a contentment that doesn't rely on external circumstances. You find it in simple moments, in the warmth of the sun on your face, in the sound of laughter, in the stillness of the night. You realize that this is the kind of happiness that can't be taken away, because it comes from within, from the peace you've cultivated in your own heart. You look at yourself now, and you see someone who is whole, not because life is perfect or because all the wounds have healed, but because you have chosen to embrace all parts of yourself, to hold each experience with love and compassion. You no longer see your past as something to escape from, but as a part of the mosaic of your life, each piece essential to the beauty of the whole. You are not flawless, but you are real, and there is a beauty in that authenticity that nothing else can match. There will always be challenges ahead, moments that test your resilience, times when you feel lost or uncertain. But you face these moments with a sense of trust, knowing that you are capable of weathering any storm. You have built a foundation within yourself, a place of refuge that you can return to no matter what life brings. And in this refuge, you find strength, peace, and an unshakable sense of self. You are grateful for the journey, for every experience that brought you to this place. You understand now that life is a series of beginnings and endings, each one bringing you closer to yourself, to the essence of who you truly are. You have learned to trust the process, to let go of the need to control every outcome, to allow life to unfold in its own way. And with this trust comes a profound sense of peace, a feeling of being at home in the world. As you move forward, you carry with you a quiet confidence, a deep knowing that you are exactly where you are meant to be. You have learned that brokenness is not something to fear, but something to embrace, a part of the journey that has led you to a place of wholeness and wisdom. And in this place, you find freedom, joy, and a love for life that is boundless. You step into the future with an open heart, ready to embrace all that life has to offer, knowing that you have everything you need within you. You are whole, you are free, and you are ready to live fully, deeply, and unapologetically, embracing each moment with gratitude and grace.